Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a note that Councilman Major is absent tonight. Everybody else is present. Starting with old business, item number 1, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of July 21st, 2022 are attached. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of July 21st, 2022 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call a roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka,
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to talk to or address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? I see no takers. New business. Item number 1 was Take 5 oil change site plan appeal. During the recent Planning Commission meeting, which occurred on 20 July 2022, the site plan for Take 5 oil change to be located at 112 North Main Street was conditionally approved. The conditions outlined in the meeting minutes include conditions in the staff report and also required the improvement of an entire alley. The applicant is appealing the requirement that they improve the entire alley, with the attached email received from the department head on 26 July 2022. The UDO clearly explains that the City Council is the appealing authority for site plans. This item is only to consider the appeal by the developer of the condition that they improve the entire alleyway. They've already agreed when working with the staff in the project to improve the portion of the alley which is adjacent to their projects. So I need a motion to uphold, rescind, or modify the condition placed on the developer by the Planning Commission that they improve the entire alley.
I move we uphold the condition placed on the development.
I have a motion and a second to uphold. Do we have any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Greg?
So if they have, where would the improved part of the alley on this picture go to?
So if you uphold the condition, that would require the developer to improve everything from Eisenhower all the way to Carroll Street on that alley.
Roger. And so if we don't uphold it, where did they say they're going to, what part of that alley will be redone by them?
What the developer has agreed to and staff had outlined was for them to do the part that's adjacent to their property. So from where the mouse is there to Eisenhower.
All right, so where your mouse was? Okay. And what's the cost difference? Do you know?
I think, Mike, did you have a cost for the remainder of that alley or what you expect it to be?
The only thing I can report is that an alley of that size in the past, when the city has undertaken those improvements, is in the range of $25,000 to $30,000 when we do it with asphalt. So that's.
And was that what, so it wasn't, they weren't told they have to use asphalt or concrete or?
We would expect them to improve it to the way that our standard, the way that we've done the rest of the alleys. So.
Okay.
But the developers also mentioned that if this is upheld, that he's not financially able to move forward with the project for whatever that's worth.
I misunderstood what the upheld meant, but I mean, surely we can take care of the other half of it. Have they asked for anything else?
No.
Just want the alley fixed.
Correct.
Do you need to retract your second?
It was
You
the
didn't understand
plan.
what you were voting on?
No, well, let's first have the discussion and everybody can talk. If that's the case, we can go back. But Gene? Can you-
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that we're telling the business that wants to come into town that they're responsible to pave an alley that they're not responsible for.
That's my concern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Not responsible for, but if you look at traffic, that's one of the main accesses to their business.
I understand
Coming from the
that.
south or coming from the north especially. They'd have to turn left onto Connie from coming south and then go up the alley back into that business, or turn on Eisenhower, come in the top.
Is there an entrance on the bottom?
Can you show the diagram that has the entrance ways and everything depicted?
I don't think we have that loaded up.
I mean, it should be in the council
It is in
packets
the
of
packet,
everyone.
Yeah, I saw it in the council.
They didn't have to change any zoning or anything.
No.
It's been business forever, right?
Correct. Yeah, the
But-
project was appropriately zoned already.
So the entrance would be off of Eisenhower into their facility, or is that the exit?
The traffic flow that was outlined on the site plan is that they would come in off of Eisenhower. They would traverse to the southern end of their property, so kind of where 3 is on that map. And they would turn west there into the property, do what they need to do on the property, and then when they leave, there's a exit that's just to the west of that alley entrance where they would go out of.
To the north.
Okay.
Right.
But don't they have a big dipsy dumpster at the end? I guess it would be the south end?
There is a
That would
dumpster on the
require
south side of it,
the
yeah.
truck to come in from the full length to get
Right.
to it?
That is correct.
Were you done, Gene?
No.
Okay, continue.
We had planned to do all the alleys anyway, at some point. Mike, correct?
We've been trying to pave one alley a
Right,
year for the
right.
last several
So-
years, yeah.
So if this hadn't done, at some point, we were gonna do the alley anyway. I understand you can't tell me when, but at some,
We have progressively installed alleys in the past few years. This year we did not due to
Right.
financial constraints, but
I
yes.
understand that. But we're working towards doing all the alleys. We've made great progress in the last few years. I think.
Yes, we have been,
Represent the part of town that has a lot of alleys.
yes.
So we have made great progress.
They have all the alleys, don't they?
Yeah, probably do have all the alleys. And I think it sends the wrong message to other businesses that want to come to town. Careful what you do in Lansing, and because they might pull something like this. It's not good for our reputation as we're trying to attract businesses. And I don't think it's fair to ask them to pave, asphalt, whatever, an alley that they're not responsible for. We are, not them. And if I'm understanding correctly, they don't have to do what they're going to do as far as paving.
The area that's adjacent to their property, it's something that staff requested,
Okay,
and
And
they
they
agreed
agreed
to.
to.
They
Yes,
agreed to that.
yes, they did.
No problem, they agreed to it.
Yes.
I know that the planning commission put in there that condition. Did they provide any reasoning behind putting that condition on there?
It was mentioned during the planning commission meeting about the trash truck access.
So the
fact
trash
that they
truck
would-
has to go from the south up north to get the trash on that alley. They can't
That would be
come-
the preferred route, I think.
Now, the lot next to that, it's just a corner lot, and the only thing I'm not understanding all of the conversation that's been had over this. The lot to the south of Shoebox's building, that's not, is that included in this?
No, it's just the area that's shown on there where the
Just
three,
Shoebox's.
well, where the 3, the 2, and the 1 is at. That's the area that would be part of this
That's what
project.
I thought I was reading
Yeah.
reading the thing.
Correct.
So if the trash truck comes from the north south, do they have enough room to stay on pavement, I guess would be my question, or asphalt?
It would be difficult.
Well, there's a trash truck picks up the dumpster down at the end where the mall's at anyway.
In the gravel driveway.
Do they go down the alley when they pick that dumpster up?
I know there's other gravel driveway or gravel alleys in the city where trash trucks go through to pick up dumpsters.
And not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot.
Love it
Were
when
you
you say that.
surprised this condition was made?
It kind of caught me by surprise, yeah.
What about the residents? Sorry, Carrie, you done?
Pardon me?
Done?
Yes.
What about the residents that line the alley? I mean,
there's
that's-
only one.
Yeah.
Is
Resident.
that going to be in the paved area?
Yes.
I'm asking because I'm just concerned if there's more heavy trucks, if it's going to create more
There's
only
one
one
right,
that's in the paved area then.
yeah, there's one right on the corner, and what they've already agreed to pay
Right.
is gonna be paid.
It's the majority of that property, yeah.
Yep.
I agree with Gene. I mean, I think it's wrong for us to ask him to do the whole alley. Not only because
Not right.
it's not right, but it's also in a ward where we've abandoned alleys. We've literally split the property on the alley, gave it to the residents, and walked away from it. You know, and now you're asking someone to pave an alley in a ward where we abandoned them. So I'm okay with waiting and improving the alley with the CIP program down the road. I'm good with that, but I don't think we should ask them to do the whole alley.
It's entirely possible that it could be improved with a future mill and overlay program.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the idea that we had with the program that we started on building the houses and trying to be lenient on permits and stuff, trying to excite that part of town because we have nothing to be able to improve it in any way. And now here we are, we're improving that corner, and then I'm gonna agree with Gene.
Okay, currently we have a motion and a second to uphold, which means we would keep them tied to that condition. So if the majority of you don't agree with that, you can either rescind the motion, or
do we
the
need-
second in the motion, or we can take a vote.
Do we need to
Yep.
have the person rescind their
The-
motion?
The person who put the second would have to rescind that
Second
first,
has
and the
to-
motion would have to be
And who
rescinded
seconded?
also.
I think Don did you, Don?
So I made the motion.
Okay.
Mr.
Well, anyway, if I did, I'd
I said
rescind
take
it.
the vote.
So we're going after paving the whole alley.
That's the way the motion
the
is
motion.
right now, to uphold it.
The
yeah.
motion is. to
Current
pave the
motion
whole
is
alley.
to uphold the requirement
From the planning.
to have them pave the entire driveway.
I think it should be, the whole thing should be.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so we're going to vote on that motion, a second to uphold. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
No.
Mr. Bueller.
No.
Mr. Clemens,
No.
Mr. Brungard,
No.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes?
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes,
Mr. Kirby.
No.
Okay, motion fails. So, would someone else like to make another motion? To either rescind or modify?
so we'll turn around next year and blacktop. That don't make sense.
Yeah, but if we make them do it, they're not coming.
So if there's,
I'm misunderstanding in what, I thought if we upheld it, that meant we were gonna do our half, they're gonna do their.
No. If we
No.
upheld it, they were doing the whole thing.
Okay,
It would
so
require-
we had a vote on that.
yeah,
I can understand if the
Motion
vote
failed.
didn't pass.
So I
Motion
move-
failed.
I move that we approve the contractor's appeal.
No, your motion would be to rescind, right?
The requirement.
condition that they put on there.
Right.
To rescind the condition that they put on there.
But,
You can read it.
Oh,
can I ask you a question before we make the motion? Does rescind mean that
Get back.
everything would have to be rescinded that the
No.
planning commission?
No, we're voting on
Just
that
that condition.
condition. Okay, so here's your motion. If you motion to rescind, to rescind the condition placed on the developer by the planning commission that they improve the entirety of the alley.
But
Or
the
we can
conditions.
modify it.
Right.
We can modify it.
But the conditions that are outlined in the staff report, including the improvement of the alley adjacent to the developer's property, would still be in place, even
Right.
if you rescind this condition.
Right, which is just extending that
Yeah.
where he wasn't planning
Right,
on doing
because
it.
you're only voting on whether or not the rest of the alley has to be improved by the developer.
So I move that we rescind the condition placed on the developer by the planning commission that they improve the entirety of the alley.
There you go.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to rescind the condition placed on the developer by the planning commission that they improve the entirety of the alley. Any discussion?
I think I got it right.
So they are just doing their part adjacent to their property.
Correct.
That
The
is
staff
still a
report-
requirement.
Yes, the requirements that were listed in the staff report would still be upheld, and that would require them to improve the part adjacent to their property only.
Okay.
Is the city gonna incur any costs, until we do the blacktopping? Do we have to do any improvements immediately?
The developer has not asked for any concessions from the city, no, nothing from the city.
Yeah, and I mean, for future, this alley may like come to the top of the list based on whatever traffic flow we get in there. I mean, we should be able to assess that.
Correct.
So we have a motion and a second to rescind. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
No,
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed to rescind. Okay, item number 2 is repairs to the fire suppression system for City Hall. On 11 June 22, the fire suppression system leaked and flooded the downstairs of City Hall. To stop the flooding, the sprinkler system was shut down and is now inoperable in the event of a fire. This system also provides fire suppression for Lansing Community Center. Jayhawk Fire Sprinkler is under contract for annual fire suppression system inspection and maintenance. The city contacted Jayhawk for diagnosis and requested a quote for the repairs. The quote includes removing 12 foot by 6 foot of concrete, sidewalk, and removal of the soil around a broken 6-inch underground fire line. The price includes replacement of sidewalk. If the break is not within 10 feet of the building or is under the building, further coordination will be needed and could incur additional pricing. So I need a motion to approve the repairs to the water line for the sprinkler system with the initial quote from Jayhawk Fire Sprinkler in the amount of $25,424.57.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
where's the break?
They're not sure
We're-
where the
In the
break is.
building, is it outside from the water line? They don't know?
They're not
Yeah,
sure.
we're not entirely positive where it's at yet. The only way we were able to get that water to stop leaking inside City Hall was
To
to
shut it
shut
off.
off the sprinkler system.
All right,
Where's the concrete that they're gonna have to remove to start figuring it out? Is it out front?
I think it's more over here, right?
It's
Yeah.
back in the
Corner
corner
over
where the
here.
gas meter comes in, on the back corner of the building.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
yes,
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 3 is executive session, preliminary discussions of the acquisition of real property. I need a motion to go into executive session for the preliminary discussion of acquisition of real property, according to KSA 754319 Bravo 6, for a period of 30 minutes, starting at 7:18 and ending at 7:48.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
yes.
Mr. Trinkle, Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Return to open session. We're good.
I make a motion to return to open session.
Have a motion and a second to return to open session. Call the roll.
Hey,
Just
hey,
1 second, please.
she wasn't even sat down yet.
I know, but Tony's in my ear.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Okay. Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes,
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. We need to go back into executive session. So I need a motion to go into executive session for preliminary discussion of acquisition of real property, KSA 754319 Bravo 6, for how much?
I think 15.
15 minutes, starting at 7:49 and ending at 8:04.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stednica,
yes.
Mr. Trinkle,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I don't go too far away this time.
Oh.
All right, go.
Gene.
We don't know yet.
Motion to return to open session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to return to open session. Call roll.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Bueller.
Yes.
Mr. Clemens.
Yes.
Mr. Brungard.
Yes.
Mr. Stednica.
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, reports. City attorney.
Got the report, Mayor.
Any department heads?
I would like to introduce, this is Leslie Welsh. She is the new assistant city clerk. So she will be here from time to time.
Welcome to the city, Leslie.
I think Mike Spickelmeyer also wanted to talk to you guys about something too.
Real quick, I was just gonna give you an update on the mill and overlay. We have done some we have done some quantity overruns on our milling. So we've been milling a lot more driveways, and when you start milling, it's sometimes like when you pull a string on a sweater, it starts going everywhere. So we've been milling a little more, so we've pulled back the length of 147th Street this year. We went just north of the school, so we're gonna have to push the rest of that back till next year to try to recapture some quantity so that we can get closer to balance. And we'll have an official quantity recapitulation or a reconciliation at some point here in the next couple months. But I just wanted to let you know it doesn't match the maps that we published in the spring because we had to pull back some asphalt to make up for some milling.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Tim?
So as of today, we only have 2 people registered for Citizens Academy. Was it 3 now? Okay, so we have 3 now. I think in the past, if we haven't had at least 5, we haven't had the class. So if you guys know of anyone who wants to do this, please encourage them to sign up, because again, it's challenging to have a class with only 3 people. So please help get the word out if you can about Citizens Academy. That's all I have.
I hit the city attorney. Go around the horn. Jesse?
I don't have anything, Mayor.
All right. Greg?
Mayor, other than on this day in 1693, Dom Perignon invented champagne.
Thank God.
Very nice. Dan?
Well, we're coming up on the new school year. High school starts the 16th.
Yep.
So we need to start thinking about that. And I also got my ad valorem tax estimate today. The city of Kansas is the only taxing entity that did not raise taxes. All the other 5 did. So I encourage the citizens to look at that estimate, and if they don't like their tax bill, go to the people that raised the taxes.
No, I think,
was only
I
a
think,
0.2
I think
increase.
Dan meant to say the city of Lansing is the only one that didn't raise, but I think you said Kansas, but
Yeah,
Yes.
I stand corrected.
yes.
Yes, Mayor.
It was our city that did not raise taxes.
Everyone on this board to the person voted to stay rate neutral.
Yeah. Is that it, Dan?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Carrie?
I have nothing, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Carrie. Don?
I don't even thank you, Mayor. Just welcome our new assistant city clerk.
Yes. Dave?
No.
Nothing? Gene?
Just kind of a little bit what Dan said. Let's start getting used to school buses again. And remember, stop means stop. And with that, I move we adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Bueller.
Yes.
Mr. Clemens.
Yes.
Mr. Brungard.
Yes.
Mr. Stednica.
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
I'm having so much fun, but let's go.